They say that your 20s are supposed to be the best years of your life and that you're supposed to have it all figured out, right? You know, travel the world, build your career, find your true love, get rich. But is that really true for everyone? Not quite. Let's get real. Your 20s is one of the most messy, confusing, and sometimes downright periods of your life. And, you know, for me, it wasn't as bad as my teen years. But the pressure to succeed, to make the right choices, to live your best life, and especially if you use social media, you're bombarded with these highlight reels and highly edited versions of everyone else's lives. They get to choose what to show you. They're not showing you all the darkness and the chaos and the craziness that goes on. And so it's easy to feel like you're falling behind and that you're so far away from everyone when that was really, like I said, edited, filtered reality. And so if that is the reference point of your reality, you're not going to feel really good about yourself. But here's the truth. Feeling lost in your 20s and not having your shit together by the end of that decade of your life is completely normal. And this is a period of trial and error. It's a time of making mistakes so that we don't have to make them later in life. Now, if we neglect and avoid those mistakes and we don't learn from them, then yeah, we kind of wasted our 20s. But it's really the best time in our lives to learn about ourselves and what we really want to be doing with the preciousness that is our lives, that is our time on earth. So in my 20s, you know, college didn't work for me. I struggled to find any work that didn't make me super depresso espresso. I saw all my friends getting jobs, traveling, and getting married. And, you know, I'm sitting here and I'm just like, did I take a wrong turn somewhere? You know, is my life going to be like this forever? And I felt this heaviness around, you know, myself, just questioning, did I really fuck up? And you know, this was amplified for me because once again, you're scrolling through social media and you're watching YouTube and you're comparing yourself to others. It's just what happens when you look at social media, when you watch videos. The mind naturally just makes comparisons because it's trying to form a sense of its reality. It's just what happens. And so for me, I'm looking at all these people around my age and they're traveling the world and, you know, they're doing all these great things and they're building businesses, they're building huge followings online, they're making an impact, they're doing a lot of the things that in my heart I really felt like I wanted to be doing, but I was limited by my emotions, I was limited by my physical health at the time, I was limited by my resources that I had available to me, and I was just like, what the f, man? Like, is this really, like, am I really that far away? And so I would get this like anxiety and this frustration of kind of knowing what I wanted to do with my life, but also like, am I gonna be successful in that? Is that going to like allow me to have what I see all these other people having that seems to be sort of like a commonplace? And frankly, I was delusional. I was delusional for thinking that that was, you know, the natural commonplace of everyone's lives. Like, that is absolutely not the case. When you go out into the real world, you will see that, you know, all these feelings of uncertainty and pressure, it's not just happening in our lives. It wasn't just happening in my life. These are widespread among our generation. And the way that it's looking is that it's only going to get more extreme and more bizarre. You know, we're expected to have our careers, our relationships, our personal lives all sorted out by 25 when our prefrontal cortex stops developing and we finally become de-aped.
Oh, yes. Yes, quite.
Yeah. It's not, no. It's like we're racing against this fake invisible clock installed in our minds by some twisted social pressure that's been created to try to get us to, you know, be something that, you know, we may not be ready for, that we're not really fitting into just yet. And so sure, you know, if you make out big doing something that you love, that's amazing. Like that's fantastic. But at this stage, most people don't even know what they actually love. And so we're just testing. We're just swimming around in the science experiment. And so even though a lot of people, you know, a lot of people really do think that they know. And yeah, not knowing can cause a lot of chaos, and it can cause a lot of heaviness, a lot of nights thinking about our life decisions and questioning the things that we've done. But Something that you got to understand about knowledge is that knowledge doesn't alleviate pain and discomfort. It just helps us deal with it more efficiently, at least usually. Something that helped me lift off some of the weight of not knowing was taking the time to spend a period of my life, past 10 years really, with these mystics, elders, healers, doctors, artists, just diving into all these different fields. I'm just allowing my curiosity to lead me forth into the world. And I was spending a lot of time with people that I genuinely looked up to. Do you want to know the number one piece of advice that all of them gave me? In essence, it was live your damn life and stop putting so much pressure on yourself. You're much further ahead than you think you are, and your doubts will only hold you back from living the life that you want. That's what all of them, whenever I would be venting to them or trying to work through something in my life, that's kind of what they came back to me with. And it's hard not to take life advice from people who care about you and have lives 2 to 3 times longer than you have. They have a lot more life experience, a lot more time spent, really realizing who they are. And, some of them have been married, some of them had kids, some of them had really successful businesses, some of them, had incredible moments of suffering that they had to overcome. And so what I learned is that, the reality is most people have no fucking idea what they're doing. Nobody has the complete picture, all of the answers, but you got to be willing to take risks. And so the one thing that stands true is that if you consistently take the risk and make the investment of showing up for yourself and try to find what you want to actually be doing in your heart and just do it, then you're almost guaranteed to succeed. And it's hard to beat someone who shows up for themselves and their inner mission with strong conviction, plain and simple. If you show up, odds are you're going to succeed in the things that you do. And so if you show up for yourself with the intention of getting aligned and getting clear about what you love and what you want to do with your life, you do that consistently, eventually you're going to start to really learn about what that is. So the turning point in my own life personally, it really came when I just deeply began to not just understand that my 20s weren't about ticking off boxes on someone else's checklist, but it was also that I actually needed to take a conscious step to embody who I am and how I actually am in my most raw, unhindered, natural form. I had my wellness and healing business fail, but because of that, I learned how to not run a business. I had several failed romantic relationships, but what I learned is what I didn't want and what I did want in a long-term partner. I lost all of my money, but it allowed me to really appreciate and change my relationship with money in a really positive and a really healthy way. So at this point, what I hope that you can understand crystal clear is that your 20s aren't a race to some finish line. They are your prime years where you get to explore yourself as an adult and take this wild journey of self-discovery. And the worst thing that you can do is doubt that. So you need to be willing to embrace uncertainty. You need to be willing to embrace this idea that you don't actually know. And that's completely okay. And you just run with that. So where do we go from here? You might be hearing what I'm saying, but struggling to see how to apply this in your own life, and I get it. And so if that's the case, I want you to head down to the link in the description of this video and check out my ebook, Living Ruthlessly Aligned. I mean, I could sit here and tell you all about these different tools, but that ebook puts it all into nice, pretty formatting. It's a super quick read, it's easy to learn from, and it makes it a lot easier to apply and sort of troubleshoot your life and the blockades that you're running into. So that's really all I got for you today. This was kind of a quick one, but thanks so much for being here. Like the video. Bye-bye.